In today's episode of the Sapiosexual Podcast, titled Smoke Meth, Get Wrecked, Kain discusses a real-life Black Mirror story with a Chinese man paying protection money for jerking off to Filipino men. We talk about a crazy $1 million pastor in the USA who is a literal freaking demon. We discuss Arnold Schwarzenegger getting kicked in the back and pulling guns on people stealing his bike. And finally, we speak on the harsh tales of meth, with a man killing a woman with a gun in the vagina and feeding meth to your squirrel. All this and more in today's episode of the Sapiosexual Podcast. Hey guys, just before we begin the episode, we're live on YouTube, Spotify, and all those good streaming services. If you like the show, give us a like, drop a comment, subscribe, do whatever you got to do, share it out to your friends. We appreciate all love. Good evening, everybody, and good morning, and good afternoon, and welcome to the Sapiosexual Podcast, the podcast bringing you entertainment to you all around the world.
We're worldwide, baby. Worldwide.
We are worldwide. We're in 364 countries, even though there's 109 countries in the world. But we are live, straight to your earphones.
Exactly. Live on every single podcasting website in existence. All 8 of them.
All 8 of them. We run them all. We're running the game right now.
We're running this game at the moment, you know. I could be getting paid, $88 a month for this, but I'm too much of a baller. I got too much passion for the podcasting game, so I've decided to take no money, We just making a statement against SJW, so we're completely demonetized on purpose, obviously.
Yeah, no one's actually come out to do that. We just don't have any money yet, but we will.
Yeah,
we will. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see.
Yeah, my McDonald's job is paying for it.
How you been, Eric?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I've been in and out of consciousness most of the weekend. Not because I haven't been hitting the Don Draper juice.
Okay.
It's just been work, bro. Like, honestly, it's just been work. I've been busy. And my favorite colleague went to Melbourne, so I was pretty chat about that. Favorite for other reasons, I suppose. I suppose it was an unhealthy form of favorite anyway, so kind of for the best that she's not in the office anymore. But
yeah, I hate it when you're at McDonald's and then your best employees leave.
I know, it's just so shit. It's like, well, what do you mean you're going to uni? What the fuck? Uni's a waste of time, all right? We've got to make more burgers here, all right? Have durries in the lunch breaks, bro.
Those nuggets are going to cook themselves, and you did a really good job pressing that button.
Yeah, it's like actuarial. But the world doesn't need more actuarials, right? We need fucking more people to fucking flip burgers and shit, all right? Look, who's going to have durries with me on my fucking lunch break?
Exactly. We need useful jobs. Durries and burger flipping. That's exactly what we need.
Shit. It wasn't really that long ago that was our daily lives. Like when we actually did have burger flipping jobs, and like
it was fun.
Our concerns were just like seeing that chick again. It was like the biggest concerns we had.
Yeah, pretty much. I miss the burger flipping days, man. They were fun. I had a lot of fun.
It was. Yeah. I actually enjoyed working at I used to work at a fish market, if you remember. I was just about to name drop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to really enjoy it, just getting sworn at by Greek people. Just fucking, hey, you fucking maniac, you fucking malaka.
You fucking malaka, what are you doing?
There we go. Hey, go the fuck up, cunt. And I'm like, all right. Get a thick skin towards getting sworn at.
Yeah.
So, my niglet, what's been happening?
Not much on my end. I've just been traveling around. Vietnam continued from the last podcast. I was on a bike. And I was navigating because it had a holder where you hold your phone in it, and the piece of fucking shit basically fell apart and it dropped apart. And my phone just flew onto the road. There's like 8 bikes flying around me, and then I went to slow down, and then my mate behind me rear-ended me. So I flew off my bike. And my wrist got sprained. I had like cuts all over me, and then like all the locals just laughing, and I was going, "Look at these white idiots riding around on bikes."
Hey, I always knew Big B liked ramming you. I didn't realize mechanically.
Ramming mechanically, man. Yeah, so that happened, but it was all good. It all sort of worked out. But I was hanging out with my friend, and he was telling me some stories about what's happening in Australia. So this is a pretty good story.
Okay.
So basically,
Good.
this is real life Black Mirror. You guys ready for this? So a few
Oh
weeks
man,
ago,
I love Black Mirror. So hit me with the digits.
we talked about the sexting story. So the sexting story was basically about someone who talks to someone on Tinder or something, and then ends up jerking off on the camera like an idiot, right?
Classic. Yeah.
So one of our friends approached me after hearing the podcast. Goes, "I got a story for you," and then told me about this, and I was like blown away. So they work in a job where they get to review footage and stuff like that, so they can find out more things about people and investigate things. Anyway, so there was this Chinese kid, right? He's 18, so he grew up his whole life in China up until like 3 years ago, and he lives in like a really rich area of like the northern suburbs or something like that.
That's unbecoming for a communist.
Yeah, you think they want to share the wealth around, not just take it all for themselves and move countries.
Yeah,
weird.
Exactly. How strange.
How weird. So he was on there, and then someone's added him on Instagram or like one of those apps or something like that, and it's a pretend Filipino girl, and the girl's like, "Hello, how are you? I really like you." And it's just like I read all the messages. They're so funny. It's like, "Hi, I'm great." It's like, "Oh, are you hungry? Oh, I'm a little bit hungry. Oh, well, you should eat." He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go eat." And then she's like, "You should look after yourself." And he goes, "Yeah, I've been studying hard. It's really hard." She's like, "Yeah, you should get good rest." And then
Poor guy.
the messaging was just like, "Do you want to like?" So that went on for ages. Very lame conversation. She's like, "Do you want to play with me now?" He's like, "Sorry, I cannot play with you now because I have to study for my exam tomorrow. But we can talk again." And then he's just like, "Oh." Yeah, no, it was very, very Zerg-minded. And he's just like, "Sorry, I must do that, but maybe another game we can talk." So the next day they talk. It's still like, "Oh, I'm very cold," and "Oh, you're so funny," and "Have you ever had a girlfriend?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Oh, we could maybe be girlfriend-boyfriend one day." He's like, "Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to go to the Philippines and hang out with you." She's like, "Yeah, we can make that happen." And then so it goes on. So the story continues on, and it's like, "Oh, so are you ready to play?" He's like, "Oh, okay." It's like, "Okay, so here's the game. You need to get naked because I'm getting naked right now." He's like, "What? Naked?" He's like, "Yeah. Go with somewhere quiet so we can play with each other." And so they had these pictures set up, so it's gonna be like photos of like a naked person. So he's like thinking through. It's like, "Okay, now video call me, and then you can see the video call starting, and there's messages in between. It's just like, "Move your camera more, move it back so I can see your whole body," and it's like getting it in the right spot. So then he's like jerking off, whatever. So he's naked, completely naked, jerking off. And they videotape the whole thing. And then as soon as the call's over, it just switches. It's just like, it's like, "That was great." And he goes, "Listen, my name is blah, 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 blah. I've been watching you the entire time. I have a video of you. I know your Facebook. I know everything about you, and I have a video of you jerking off. You have this amount of time to give me my money. How much money do you have right now?" And he's like, "What? And then it's like this Facebook page where he's like messaging each person and showing the messages like, here it comes. Like, "Oh my God. All right. How much money do you need?" And then the guy's like, "Listen, you go to MoneyGram. Here's one in your area. Where's your address?" They gave him his address. Like, "Here's the MoneyGrams. Exactly where to go." He goes, I need 5,000. He goes, "I can only get 2. He goes, "All right, 2,000 it is. You've got 20 minutes to get to the MoneyGram. Go." And so he had to like rush out. He's like, "But it's a school night." He goes, "I don't care. Get an Uber. This is coming right now." And they keep sending more and more like names and different people. Like, so they had the Facebook contact list, 100 contacts, right? So they'd send a different contact and a different contact and a different contact, and the person would get more and more pressured. So he's doing that, and then it's like, "Where are you now?" And then it's just like, "Oh, I'm trying to find an Uber." He goes, "Send me a photo of who you are." So he took like a photo, and then like they're running along again. He goes, "Show me a video of you in the Uber." So then he's in the Uber, like showing himself, like to show that he's actually doing it. And then he's at the MoneyGram, and then it's just like, "Put 2 fingers up and take a photo." And it just takes a photo like with that in front of the MoneyGram. It's like, "Good. Keep going." Then they gave him all these specific instructions about what to do. Like the whole time, it's like Black Mirror, like, "Go here, show me a video of you running." He's like, I'm running. And it's a video of him actually running along, trying to get it because one of the MoneyGrams didn't work. He's going to another one. Like, "Are you bullshitting me? You're bullshitting me? I'm sending the videos right now." I was like, "No, please, I'm hurrying. Anyway, so then he gave them $2,000, and then he apparently looked into it more with the police or something the next day, but he full got scammed.
Oh, what a dumb cunt, man.
Yeah.
You know, when you're 18, though, you can't put it in perspective because, look, you weren't caught doing anything illegal. You were jacking off on camera. It's pretty bad, right? But, like, I think we've discussed this before, but, I mean, sometimes you just got to cop it on the chin. You just go, you know what? send a video of me jacking off. Every single guy on my Facebook does the same thing. It's just that you managed to record it. I don't give a fuck. Like, it's going to be embarrassing and everyone will forget it eventually.
Yeah.
The thing is, you didn't do anything illegal, so everyone's going to forget eventually that you jacked off on camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they will eventually forget. It might take a while.
It might take a while, but it'll probably come up every few years. Like, oh, remember you did this thing? It's like, oh, God.
Yeah,
but,
fuck yeah, sorry. Yeah.
One funny thing was, at the end of it, he's like, oh, have you deleted the video? And they're like, good. You've done good today. You've got everything done. We'll talk tomorrow about deleting the video. Have a good sleep. So then they actually like fuck with him again. So he's like, that's when he stopped. He was like, okay, I need to like tell someone about this now because I might need to keep giving money or something. Like, he realized like, holy shit.
Man, when I was 18 though, that was roughly how much I had saved up when I was in uni because we had part-time jobs. $2,000 was heaps. It was like it was my fucking gaming computer fund.
Yeah,
it was either that or an overseas holiday at the end of my uni. It wouldn't have been worth that. For me, it's like, you know what? Just fucking tell everybody I jacked off. I tell everyone I jack off all the time anyway. Fucking everyone knows I fucking jack off. It's like everyone knows anyway.
Who cares?
Oh man, but that is so Black Mirror. If anything, I think they were inspired by Black Mirror. It sounds like something.
Look, it sounds pretty cool. I was like, wow, you can actually just send a bunch of idiots and make a fake profile. And I think they had a fake video playing. So they've got a video of Pornhub and just put it in there. So he's like, oh, I'm interacting with this person.
I'll give you off the record more specifics on this later. But I know a chick who used to, and this was before Facebook and all this stuff, right? It was before social media. Maybe it's the MySpace era. Used to like goad dudes into jacking off on camera.
What?
Yeah. And then like the end of it, she wasn't like trying to get money or anything. She'd just be like, haha, I made you jack off. See ya. And like fucking just.
Oh, so it's just like a fun game.
Yeah, it was just a game just to make them feel like idiots. But like she wouldn't scam them or anything. But she used to just go, like, haha, bye. She'd be like, I'll show my dick for you on camera. She used to think it was fucking hilarious. I'll tell you who it is off the record later.
Okay. That's crazy.
It totally reminded me of it. Like, I actually knew somebody used to do this. She used to think it was fucking hilarious.
Well, look, if you're in the Philippines and you want to make some money, you can make a lot of money doing that, man.
Dude, if you're actually from the Philippines, $2,000. Look, it's pretty bad to scam.
How far does that go?
Oh, dude, that's like months. Like, you can go for a couple months. Like, you really could.
Shit.
I mean, if you're living cheap, if you're living rough, you know, like it can last. You know, you buy some rice, basics. You know, you're right though. Like, it's still bad. You shouldn't be scamming people.
Oh, no.
Like, if you're scamming people,
it's blackmail.
Overall, your life's not going to get anywhere. But at the same time, it's like you said, some people are living in absolute desperate circumstances. They're probably paying like a couple cents to go to the net cafe to actually communicate with people anyway. And like, you know, life is so tough. It's still not okay. But you could make a lot of fucking money, man, if you're just good at swindling people.
Hey, man, you just talk some shit and you just like, it was so funny. The thing that made me laugh the most was like, how it's all this, oh, it's so cute, and said, are you okay? You should get some rest, and we could be boyfriend and girlfriend, and it goes to, give me the fucking money, you got 20 minutes to get to this ATM right now. I want a video of you running, I want a video of you holding your fingers up, I want a video of you putting the money in.
It's funny how it goes from like a dream to a nightmare, like so instantly. Like you can actually hear the TV music.
I could feel the feelings. I was reading the text. I'm like, oh
yeah. I was like,
at this point, he's like pulling his hair out, going, "Oh my god, what have I done?"
Oh shit! Fuck, that's so funny.
That's so good, eh? Apart from that, not much else to report. Had some run-ins with some fucking losers recently. I'll say one more quick story.
Oh, yeah?
This guy. I was at my local cocktail bar, and there was a Vietnamese guy there. He was talking really loudly at the bar to someone else.
Yeah.
And like I didn't care or pay attention. I was like just drinking my drink, doing my own thing, talking to someone else. And then he yells across the bar, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for speaking Vietnamese." And I went back to him in Vietnamese, "Oh, com sao," which just means no problem. Like I don't care, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't care. And then I was just drinking my drink. And then he comes over to me, and then he's like, "Oh, where are you from? Like, what are you doing?" Like, and I'm like, "Oh, I told him my name, and I said I'm from like Australia and stuff." He goes, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Oh, like, well, in Vietnam, like, I'm sorry about that, but in Vietnam, we actually speak Vietnamese. We don't need to speak English." I said, yeah,
Yeah.
look, I go, that's fine. It's your country. Like, you can
Yeah.
speak whatever you want. I said to him, I don't really care about that. I go, I speak Vietnamese myself. He goes, oh yeah. And then I was, trying to talk in Vietnamese. He's like, no, it's wrong. That's wrong. Do this. It's wrong. It's wrong. I'm like, where are you from? He goes, I'm from Hanoi. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, okay. And
Hmm.
he's like, yeah. He goes, oh, welcome to my country. You're a tourist here. I said, well, no, actually, I live here. He's like, oh, sorry. He goes, oh, it's good in your country, in America. He isn't even listening to me. He's like, in America, you get $1,000 a week. You buy alcohol, it's only $3. It's so cheap. It's so cheap here. It's so lucky that you're here. And I'm like, okay, man. He goes, see, who owns this bar? Who owns this bar? And I'm like, this girl. He goes, see, this girl owns this bar. And I'm like, all right, man. I'm like, all right, man, whatever. And then, like, I kind of, like, ignored him after that point. And then I just turned around because I thought he was gonna gank me. I thought he was gonna like hit me from behind or like fuck me up. And I was like kind of watching, but there was someone else kind of lurking around at the back, and I was like, I was just thinking in my head, I'm gonna fucking tackle this cunt and choke him out. I was getting furious, man. But I think, like in retrospect now, thinking back, I don't think he was trying to be a cunt. I just think that's just his view on things. You know what I mean? I spoke to
maybe he's been a bit territorial a little bit.
He's being a little bit territorial, yeah.
It sounds like he assumed you were American too, which was driving actions as well. He wasn't really listening.
He wasn't. He was assuming all these things, man. It reminds me of someone else we know. You know what I mean? But he was just assuming all these different things, and I was like, no, that's not true. And he goes, oh, like, I said to him, I speak Vietnamese because I respect your land. Like, if I go to your place, I should be speaking your
Sign of
language,
respect.
obviously. Yeah. But,
a reasonable person would be happy that someone's trying to speak the language instead of expecting everyone to speak English.
And I spoke to like the bartender, and he was like, "Look, man," he goes, "people from the north are like, unfortunately, like they're like that because they think that white people have a debt to pay back because of all the problems they cause interfering with communism, and like it's also like he goes, some people in Saigon might think that way, but you rarely meet them. They're usually quite humble and stuff like that. He goes, people from there, like they're more arrogant
people
about
from
the
Hanoi,
situation. Yeah.
People from Hanoi are really up themselves. It's a little bit like that. Not all of them. Like when I was in Hanoi, we were talking with like the street vendor lady, and it's like really cold there. So like the hot pot is really good there because it's so cold. Sitting there on the street side, and just people, just normal people. But there are a lot of people out from that way, from the north side, who just, well, they're triumphant, aren't they? Because they're one of the few peoples on the planet who've beaten Americans, in a war, and it's got to their head a little bit. And
well, that's what I'm saying. He was assuming I'm this American white guy. I even told her, I go, I'm not American.
I'm Australian, yeah.
I'm Australian, man. I got nothing to do with what you're talking about at all, dude.
Yeah, but, nothing at all.
Yeah, it was so weird, man. But I think he was being a little bit of a cunt, but I don't think he was trying to be like a... In retrospect, thinking back now, I'm like, oh no, he's just trying to be friendly, but he's just got this weird bias on all this shit that doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, the funny thing is that shit's going to slowly start to come to an end because there's this like newfound friendship Vietnam has with the rest of the free world now because of like everything that China's doing to everybody else. They're becoming very much against, like, I don't know if there's still some people in Vietnam who still believe in communism, but they're very much, like, because of China, like, dominating the South China Sea and just taking everything. Like, Vietnam is, like, opening up friendships with, like, Japan, Philippines, especially Philippines, America. Like, it's pretty funny for a communist country, still nominally communist, to just open up all these ties. Like, the other week, there's a Philippine fishing boat, and they were just fishing in the South China Sea. It was the West Philippine Sea, really. And the Chinese just fucking rammed them, and they just sunk. Shit. And like, the Chinese were signaling them at first to try and talk to them, but when they realized that the ship was fully sinking, like they fucked up the ship, they just went, oh shit, they just fucked off. Like the Chinese just left them out in the ocean, 22 of them. They would have fucking died. Oh my God. Just out in the ocean and just sunk their boat. But then like a Vietnamese fishing boat just like found them and just like picked them up. And like the only thing they said, it was like in English, they just said Vietnam, Philippines, and then just brought them on board, saved their lives. And like, it's all part of this thing that's been happening as well. They've just been cooperating a lot. They've had like military training together. They do like military training. They have like these games where they just like play sports against each other and stuff.
Okay.
And they've opened up heaps of trade deals. Whenever there's a rice shortage, they're just constantly trading with each other. Well, basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to cultivate all these alliances with countries around China to try and contain China. It's all part of this thing where Southeast Asia is trying to figure out how they're going to contain this because China's a monster right now. They got huge. I think they have a bigger navy than the Americans do now, and it's not like low tech. I read this. It was an opinion piece recently. It was one of like these military I can't remember where. He's one of these high up military people, defense analysts in America, and they were saying people are really underestimating the technology that the the Chinese Navy has. Like, and I've seen some of the ships. They have like laser cannons on some of their ships. They have fucking rail guns and shit. And I'm thinking, people don't realize this, right? Because it doesn't really get reported very widely. But they have military laser cannons now. Like it is a thing, and it's insane because imagine you're on a boat, you can't dodge a laser cannon round, and it doesn't miss either, right? You just get fried. Like 1 minute you're sitting on deck, the other minute you're just fried. Although lasers are mainly for targeting engines because it's not really that effective at killing. It's more effective for engines. But if you're in the engine room, you're going to fucking fry, dude. They'll just fry you alive. And like I've seen them test it out. It looks pretty sick. Like they mount these laser cannons on the big like AC-130s and just zapping shit. And you're like, they invented laser guns. We're living in the era of laser guns, dude. Like I never would have thought. But like it sounds cool. But if you're in the military, that sounds terrifying. It's like 1 minute you're there, the next minute you're vaporized.
Yeah.
Like, not science fiction, guys. Look it up. Google it. It's fucking real, man. I've seen the demonstration videos. I'm like, holy shit. I would not want to be on the other side of an enemy that has laser cannons.
But I think, like, back to what you're saying, like, I don't know if Hanoi and China are quite close, though, aren't they? Very similar. Very similar places, aren't they?
I think...
It's still, like, in cahoots with China almost.
No, well, see, the thing is, in the 70s, they had a falling out. Like, Vietnam became Soviet allied. Yeah. And Soviet allied is not the same as Maoist allied. And they had a war. They fought each other.
Yeah, I know.
Straight after the Vietnam War, they fought each other. And they never forgave each other. It was always on their mind ever since then. Yeah. They never forgot about it. And then China tried to support the Khmer Rouge. And then the Vietnamese annihilated the Khmer Rouge. So, like, the Khmer Rouge were like they were a really unintelligent organization, to say the least. They were really unintelligent and they were really backwards and they had no experience fighting a modern war. Whereas Vietnam was like fresh out of beating America, like the world's superpower, right? So when it came to the difference in experience, tactics, they're just battle hardened. These guys had fought a decade war against the West, right? So the Khmer Rouge, they fucking took them out in like 4 weeks, man. They just dismantled them. It was just a clean sweep. They didn't even use their I don't even think they sent like the main forces. It was like all these reserve armies they sent through. Like it was almost effortless. Although it's at a statistical level it's effortless, but people still fucking die, like and then China invaded and they both claim to have won, but the outside observers suggest that China suffered like huge losses, like unexpectedly huge losses, because the way they fought was still very World War II style. The way they armed their men, the way they communicated, their communication lines were set up World War II style, which was a lot more sluggish. They weren't even giving assault rifles to every soldier. They were giving them just to the NCOs and the officers, like just little things like that. And then the way they were coordinating and attacking, they lost heaps, dudes. Like they lost fuckloads. Like the main. I think the best troops at that point in time were occupying Cambodia. Yeah. And the whole point was to try and make them divert back to Vietnam. But the Vietnamese army had never even redirected their main force. So just the reserve armies were holding off the Chinese. And like, I don't know, there's this whole war thing that happened back then. I don't think they ever got over that. There's always been this like kind of like there's a lot of respect between each other in the sense that there's a lot of cultural alignment because they both have like a Confucian/Buddhist communism, but before that they both had a very Confucian/Buddhist ideal. So before the modern era, Vietnam had a court very similar to the Chinese one. So back then, it's the same way with China now actually, because back then China would be really good to you if you replicated their society. So if in Korea they started replicating their society to be recognized as a kingdom. Near the Chinese Empire. The Japanese during the 8th century, the Tang dynasty influenced them huge. The Yamamoto, I think they called the Yamamoto kingdom or something like that. And they just replicated for wholesale the Chinese way of governance, which was a good way back then. It was really advanced. And so that's why their cultures are so aligned. Like there's so much similarity in their cultures. But that whole Soviet Maoist split, they never forgot it. And plus, China's bullying everyone in the fucking region, dude.
Right now, it's out of control. They've got so much power.
And it's a head scratcher. No one knows what to do about it because they have so much power. There's no one who's really willing to check them. and no one's really sure what America's going to do with it. You know, like we see what's happening in Hong Kong. Fucking 2 million people protesting in the streets because of these fucking extradition laws.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, for people who don't know this, the leaders of Hong Kong, which are essentially puppets of the mainland government, proposed an extradition law where if you commit a crime in Hong Kong, you can be extradited to the mainland to be persecuted. It's like, or prosecuted, sorry, not persecuted, prosecuted.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like basically saying anyone who's a political dissident in a democracy, because Hong Kong is still an autonomous region with a democracy,
Can be taken out straight away.
Taken out to a fucking, dictatorship government to disappear.
Yeah.
Fucking 28% of the fucking population is protesting this shit. You can't help but feel proud of these people who will not let oppression go easily. Like, they won't let their freedoms go easily. Like, some will say it's inevitable. It could be inevitable because we're talking about a superpower, one tiny region of this superpower.
Mm-hmm.
But they won't go quietly, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that.
I don't know what's going to happen there because if it does go through, then a lot of businesses are going to pull out, and a lot of people are looking to leave Hong Kong because it could actually crush Hong Kong if it actually happens. You know what I mean?
And yet, I've read some analysis. I was on the Nikkei Asian Review, and they were talking about how for the longest time China's been afraid to kill the golden goose because look, Hong Kong makes them so much money. And you know what? It's their system as well. It's a system that's free. Look, there's a lot of great things about Hong Kong, and obviously a lot of harsh things about Hong Kong. It's a super populated area. It's very difficult to get by for a middle class person. But it's the golden goose because freedom and democracy brought them prosperity. That's why there's so many fucking billionaires in Hong Kong because they're free. Yeah. They're free to do this. They're free to make companies and products and services and do things, right? China's been so afraid to kill the golden goose, but now they're promoting Shanghai and some other areas as economic centers, and they're catching up. Shanghai's like a pretty advanced city, right?
Yeah.
The moment they don't need the golden goose, they will kill the golden. They'll go, fuck it. We still need you, but maybe we don't need you to be everything the way you want it anymore. Maybe we're willing to let some of you fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
And it remains to be seen. The other regional issue is Taiwan. Taiwan's losing a lot of allies, a lot of diplomatic ties because people are realigning towards China. I can't remember. There's all these island countries that are doing it. And it's a head scratcher because there's a defense treaty that the U.S. has with Taiwan that if anything were ever to happen to Taiwan, America would go to war with China for, right? No one's really sure if America will do that. No one's really sure.
Not going to because Trump said he was in support of them, like getting their own weapons and stuff like that as well.
Exactly. So think about that, right?
There's no way.
But if America's not willing to do that for Taiwan, then they're not willing to do that for the Philippines. They're not willing to do that for Vietnam, for Malaysia, for Japan, for Korea. There's a lot of countries that are really, really concerned about what's going to happen here. And a lot of analysts are talking about how much Asia today aligns with Europe at the beginning of the 20th century before World War I. And it's true. Just a couple of bad moves could spark a huge conflict. But I think, in my opinion, which is not as educated, I suppose, it's likely to have some sort of regional conflict like South China Sea or the Sea of Japan, these areas. But I think it would be limited. I doubt this would devolve into a total war of occupation against each other. I doubt it. I don't think China's that dumb. China reads enough about history. People know enough about history to replicate the mistakes of the German Reich or something like that. I don't think they would. That's what I think. But then again, back then they all used to say the same thing. Oh, we're too interconnected. Even in 20th century, early 20th century, they used to say it. They're like, oh, we're too interconnected. Everyone's too interdependent. We're trading with each other. Blah, blah, blah. It still happened. So you never know. You never know. Right. But watch, whatever happens to Taiwan will dictate how everyone has to, whether they have to fend for themselves or whether they know that this, these defense treaties they have with America, with the West, could still hold up. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the best section of the podcast, the ultimate fucking championship breakdown. Breakdown.
ASMR breakdown.
So our UFC update today is a few different fighting sports things. The first one is Bellator. Rafael Lovato JR took on Gegard Mousasi. And Rafael Lovato Jr. is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, multiple champion. He's an American guy, went over. First guy to win multiple titles and different things, but also be a guy that's not from Brazil. So he took on Gegard Mousasi and he took him out. majority decision, which is pretty crazy. Gegard Mousasi is one of the best welterweights in the world. He's been Tyron Woodley, he's been Rory McDonald, he's been all the best people, and they consider him perhaps maybe even better than so middleweight, better than Rob Whittaker. Like, he's that good.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Gegard Mousasi is a beast, and this guy beat him. Like, he smoked him. It was crazy.
Fuck yeah.
And in other fighting news, Korean Zombie. You know Korean Zombie? Chen Sung-young?
My nigga, yes. I know the Korean.
He took on Renato Moicano.
Mm-hmm.
Renato Moicano is the guy that fought Cub Swanson. And Cub Swanson said in the pre-fight, so we watched this live. This is 10 UFCs ago. Renato Moicano took on Cub Swanson. And Cub Swanson said in like the preview before it started, it was like, all right, guys, this fight is going to be a chess match.
Oh, yeah, that chess match.
And then, like, a minute into the first round, just gets knocked out cleanly and goes to sleep.
Oh, dude. That was so funny.
That was hilarious.
Fight's going to be a chess match. We're so evenly matched. And he's like, all this shit. And it's like 2 minutes in.
Boom.
Fucking
put to sleep.
Oh, dude. And it was a jab. It was a jab on the noggin, and he just knocked out.
It was a jab, yeah. It was just unlucky. He got a jab and just got dropped.
Ah, that was good times, dude. We were in the pub. It was fucking hilarious.
So he fought Renato Moicano, who's been in a tear. Apart from his last loss to Jose Aldo, he took on the Korean Zombie. And the Korean Zombie knocked him out in about a minute. Just a nice cross straight over, like an overhand like right, like looping overhand, right. And just knocked him out, man. Bang.
Right in the bun. That's all it takes. Fucking brilliant.
Did you see the Korean Zombie last fight? He got knocked out?
I think so. I think I remember watching that. Like, he lost. I don't remember getting knocked out.
The guy, like, bent down and then did a backwards elbow.
Oh, yeah. The spinning fucking, the under, the over.
Yeah.
It's like, it was almost like an overhand back elbow move. It was nuts. It was like this crazy high risk move, and he got nailed with that thing. It just...
He got slept, dude. It was amazing. He just did that last.
Wasn't he? And he was winning up until that point. That's what was kind of disappointing.
Korean Zombie was winning it. The Korean Zombie's he's got heaps of skill, man. And take it, Renato Moicano, the guy I just fought, is really, really talented. So it was a shame he lost that last fight. He took time off to do military service. He retired for 2 years.
Oh, he had to go back to Korea to do his mandatory. Fair enough.
He did that. Then came back
Then
still doing really well in the UFC. I love how his name. He actually he refuses to have his Korean name. It's just Korean Zombie. So whenever he fights, it says Zombie.
Oh, really? They're kind of like that though. They kind of do that where they protect their Korean identity, like when they're in Australia, or for example, they'll do things in a way where it's like it doesn't reflect on what people know back home. And like they want to be able to go back home and have nothing out of that world reflect in their homeland. They have a lot of love for their home and their life in the homeland.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's an interesting thing about Koreans is they're a little bit like they're like the Japanese in that way, where even if they grow up elsewhere, a lot of them still just dream of their life back home and what it might be like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's non-existent among us.
That could make sense. It's like there's a pride there with that as well. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and I suppose because their home country is a first world country too, so of course you'd have a lot of pride and a lot of desire to go back at some point. I think the reason that us jungle Asians don't have that is that life's just too fucking hard back home. It's hard to imagine it. You're like, I wouldn't be able to do what I do here back home. It's just too difficult.
It's too difficult to do it there, yeah.
So you just don't imagine that life.
Yeah,
but maybe it's that a chicken and egg thing. Maybe it's the pride that creates the well-off country in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm going the other way around, saying, "Oh, it's kind of hard to think that way because life's so hard back home." But maybe they used to think that before their country was good. They probably did. It's a chicken and egg thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he had a really good fight today, so I'm keen to see who he fights next. And then the main one I wanted to talk about was the Paulie Malinagi and Artem Lobov fight. Do you know about this?
No, I don't.
So Paulie Malinagi and Artem Lobov had a bare knuckle boxing match. So it was because
a boxing match.
You know Paulie Malinagi, right?
I don't really know. I'm sorry.
I don't know him. He's an ex world champion boxer. He fought Cotto. He fought You fight Mayweather? I don't know if you fought Mayweather. He's an ex-champion.
Actually, the name kind of.
He's an Italian guy, So what happened was, up until the McGregor versus Mayweather fight, he was brought in to spar with McGregor, and McGregor apparently smashed him. That was the rumor, right? So he's a retired boxer.
Oh shit! I remember this guy.
Yeah. And they released footage showing him getting knocked down and stuff. So Artem Lobov was there. He was like his trainer. Like he was his McGregor's training partner. And then McGregor like kind of shattered him. So he's been so angry at McGregor for so long about it. McGregor just doesn't care anymore because he's got millions and millions of dollars. Like, I don't want to entertain this. So McGregor's training partner, Artem Lobov, who was there, he challenged him to a fight. And they said, okay, we'll fight. And it's been crazy lit up, man. Paulie Maliнаgi's been slapping him in the face. He's been spitting on him. He's been saying all this crazy shit, man. And Paulie Malinagi said, like, MMA fans are the dumbest fans there are. The reason why this fight gets to go ahead. I'm going to show you all why boxing's better and, like, how this idiot's going to get smashed. Now, Artem Lobov has, like, a really low... Like, he's 13 and 15 in the UFC. He's just a prize fighter. He goes out and just fights whoever. He doesn't give a fuck.
He's like a journeyman, yeah.
Like a journeyman, that's right. And then he fought him... And the fight was not good for Malinagi, man. People online are saying, "Oh, he won the box. Like Malinagi won the boxing," but it's not a boxing match. It's bare knuckle, man. And he's like throwing these overhand looping hits. They're hitting him. He's splitting his face open. Like Malinagi got fucked up, man, by an MMA fighter, man, in a boxing match, man. It was so embarrassing for him, bro. And now he's complaining, saying, "Oh, it was a split decision," and it wasn't. It was a majority decision. He was like complaining about it, but it actually did look like. Maybe the first 2 of the rounds he won, but like out of 5, it looked like Artem Lobov won, man. Like I couldn't believe it. Artem Lobov wasn't.
Yeah, I think bare knuckle is it's a totally different game, isn't it? I mean, it's bare knuckle boxing. Like some of the shit you do in normal boxing doesn't quite like the way you guard. You know, you're assuming you have a certain size glove. The way you move, you're assuming a certain size. The chance of getting lacerated is just huge. And
he got his face cut to pieces.
You can't actually throw punches with the same wild abandon either because you can break your wrist really easily. Like
he broke his hand.
Because in boxing you're so strapped up tight, you're strapped straight. You could throw that thing like a fucking club. Yeah. But in bare knuckle, your technique has to be on point, or you're gonna break your wrist. Exactly. You're gonna break your hand. In some ways, it doesn't surprise me. Actually, in some ways, it doesn't surprise me. The MMA guy won the bare knuckle match, even though there was bare knuckle boxing. I don't know. Somehow, I'm not that surprised.
Also, the clinch. Yeah. Like the clinch was fucking him up. You clinch him in because like MMA type clinching, you know, and then just like fucking beat him up.
Rabbit punching
was hurting him. Yeah, it was hurting him, and it wasn't like a break, like a traditional boxing break. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, he got smashed. He did say at the end of it, he was just like, "Look, guys, yeah, you know, I want to apologize to the boxing community because like he talked all this shit and then he got fucked up, man. Like,
what an idiot!
He talked so much smack. He's been like spitting on Conor McGregor's pictures and pissing on him, and he's been an absolute dickhead, man. But it's what happens. You get punched in the head a lot, man. You don't really like think clearly.
Look, people like to talk about how boxing is like so much classier than like UFC, and I'd say it's like a scotch, maybe like a scotch class.
It's still
dude. It's still a sport where you beat the fuck out of each other. Like it's just
yeah. So yeah, it was entertaining, hectic. Look, I wouldn't recommend watching it unless you really want to. You're really into that shit. Yeah, it was just like, okay, this happened. Next.
I don't know. There's too many fight sports on. You can't keep up with. It's too much fight sports.
I love it, man. I just pick out the best parts. So I just go, let's watch these.
Oh yeah, ONE FC was on recently as well. That was fucking Destiny something. It was fucking.
No,
it's like a fucking
Road Destiny or some shit. The name of that.
Yeah. I'll probably do a rundown of that one next time. But it was fucking. It's pretty decent Muay Thai fights. Actually, a lot of the key fights were kickboxing and Muay Thai rather than MMA. A lot of the main events. But I like that. I like the variety.
Yeah.
Good variety.
Nah, it's good stuff. All right, so moving on to our topics for today. So first one
I love the topics.
I love the topics, yeah.
So topical, yeah.
Yeah. First one we got here is I have to talk about this guy. So the crazy pastor demon, man. So this is blowing up over the internet. So it's televangelist Kenneth Copeland. He's like one of those mega rich pastors. You flick on the tape at 3 a.m. he's talking all this shit about Jesus and salvation, selling all these courses, and basically a literal snake oil salesman, right? Talking about Jesus.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah.
And then this chick interviews him, and she's doing a really good job. She's like asking him hard questions, like, "Oh, like you're pretty rich. Like how does that, go in hand in hand with being a Christian?" Like she's being honest about it. She's like, because this guy's mega wealthy, rich.
And it was a pretty simple question, wasn't it? Just like, why aren't you flying commercial? Why are you flying private?
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Like, why do you have a private jet? He goes, it's just so, I got such a good deal. And then he's like attacking her. He's like, you stay away from me. You don't say these things about me. And then he's like commenting her again, changing personality. He's like, you got such beautiful, pretty little ass. Like he'd go like back and forth between like berating her and then like loving her, like doing this weird, like weird attachment issue, like type thing to her. And it's so weird because this guy's this like crazy demon pastor guy, right? But he actually looks like a physical demon.
No, he does. Like, I saw a video of this, and I have no aversion to Christians. I am a Catholic, and so I'm trying to see the good in people, right? I look at this guy, and he just looks like a fucking devil, dude. Like, he looks like a devil.
It's so scary.
He looks scary as fuck, and just the way he talks scares me. I would actually feel a bit of anxiety if I was face to face with this guy in a room by myself. Like, I'd feel a bit of anxiety. The guy looks scary as fuck. And just the way he was talking as well. Yeah, like you said, he kept changing his moods and he was just like this and that. But I just thought it was so stupid that he was flustered by a really simple question. Like, if you're a mega rich preacher, surely you've anticipated people questioning your wealth. This should be something that you pre-prepare for. You should have at least one, like, rehearsed answer on why you live it. And I think he half came up with it. Like, he half came up with it. He was like, oh, doing what we do. And you're like, well, yeah, but you could fly commercially. You don't have to fly private. It doesn't really fully justify it.
Well, that's what he said. He goes, I don't want to fly in a tube with a bunch of demons. And then she started asking more questions. He's like, I don't think people are demons. But it's like, but you did say that. But he would totally try to manipulate it. It's such a weird interview, guys. Check it out. Just type in crazy pastor demon on YouTube and you'll see it. It's so weird.
Look, I think he's just one of those guys that's just so used to being surrounded by adore him.
By what?
And, adore him. Like, people who adore him, like, who worship him, basically. He's just so used to being surrounded by those people. So for him, just being hit with like pretty basic journalistic questions. These are pretty basic questions that were asked. And he was just having a bit of a flip out about it. It's funny, man.
He's having a flip out, and you just know that this guy just pumps so many chicks. Like, he just does whatever he wants.
Let me bring you closer to God.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, so you had your Holy Communion? It's time for the ass to ass union. Yeah. Fucking hypocrites though, man. That's a typical hypocrite.
Yeah. Doesn't do anyone favors when that shit like that happens, man.
No. It's one of those weirdos, man.
So what else can you tell me about religion lately, Eric?
Well, yeah, on the theme of religion, back in the old Australia, we have a chain of stores which used to exist in America a long time, which now only exists in Australia. Kmart, yeah, man. Like, I think Walmart destroyed Kmart, but they used to have Kmart once upon a time. Basically, it's like Walmart. It's like to buy whatever the fuck you want. It's got a whole bunch of shit in there. Yeah. Homewares, clothes, food, blah, 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 blah. They have everything. So they have these photo kiosks because, Kodak is completely gone. No one does photo development anymore. You just get a USB stick, go to kiosks, right?
Yeah.
They have their own photo kiosks where you can, you can add words, you can just fucking edit it, then have them to print out. It's pretty convenient. It's pretty fucking awesome. Except recently it came to light that Jesus, God, church, and Christian all banned words in the kiosk. It wouldn't let you use it. And and Jewish as well. For some reason, Jewish was banned.
That's weird.
And so, they got blasted on social media and in the traditional media. And they tried to come out and say, it was just a system error. Like, it was just an error with the system. I go, this is not something that could just be a system error. It's not something that can accidentally happen. Especially to add insult to injury, Mosque, Allah, and Islam were not in the censoring. It was specifically aimed at Christians or Judeo-Christians, It was just fucking...
Why can't you put that on a caption, though? I don't understand why that word... It doesn't make any sense why they not want words...
So I think what they did was they would have had, like, foul language censoring. So, I mean, there's some obvious words that they wouldn't want their kiosk to print out. Fuck, ass, whatever. Right? But then they, it's obvious that there was just some lefty programmer or censor, whoever's in charge of censoring, added it to a list, right? This isn't something that can happen... They go, it was a system error. This is not something that can happen as a system, right?
So
There's usually a list. You pull up the list of censored words and you add words to the censored list. It's as simple as that. Computers do not accidentally censor church, Jesus, God. Okay? It's just so fucking ridiculous, the amount of the fucking damage control that they're going through. Well, you know.
That's bizarre. I don't know why they do that. Maybe some rogue idiot must have done that. It must be. There's no way that Kmart would be like, yeah, let's approve that.
Yeah, but you're not going to stop people from rocking up to Kmart and getting their $25 Huffy mountain bikes. Fucking.
I want a fucking Huffy. Build it for me. You can't. Hurry up.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're fucking hypocrites, but I want my fucking mountain bike now. It's like $25.
I'll put it on lay-by. I'll pay $5 a week for about 36 weeks and I'll get me Huffy.
Fucking Huffy. Jeez. I mean, it just comes back to it, though. Like, why is it? I mean, so we can go past the idea that there's any doubt here that it was just some computer error. We know someone did this.
Yeah.
But what kind of person did this? Look, I'm telling you, it wasn't a Muslim person that did this. It was just some deranged lefty. Like, I mean, I'm willing to put my money, right? Some deranged lefty who did this. You know, adds in all the Christian words, leaves out all the Islam. But why? What kind of society are we living in now where everyone's so against Christians? And people forget that we're still the most oppressed minority in the world. Like, I think it was in Britain, the secretary of, what is it called? It's like a state secretary. I'll just double check that. They commissioned an independent study of oppression around the world, discrimination, oppression, violence against minorities. And this independent study came to the conclusion that Christians are the most oppressed minority in the world. I mean, it's not necessarily in the West. A lot of it's the Middle East. But we still face genocide. We face prejudice. We face fucking, you know, alienation. And to some extent, look, why do people keep carrying on like as if being a Christian in Australia is like being the big bad majority? Like, I'm a Christian in Australia, and I'll tell you what the experience is like. Everyone thinks you're a fucking retard, you know? And it's alienating, actually. I don't feel like we're the big bad majority in Australia. Most definitely not. I feel like the default mode towards religion now is cynicism, and that everyone's got their own right to their own opinion. But to carry on like as if we're the big bad majority and shit like this needs to be done to somehow even the score, it's just misguided. We're not the majority anymore. At least not in pop culture. Not in the, what do you call it? The fucking popular zeitgeist or whatever. I don't know what you call it, but just the way society views things. We're not the majority anymore. We're not in charge of everything anymore. All right, especially not in pop culture. So why do people do this? I don't know. It's just misguided. Especially like you leave out Moscow and Islam, all the things you hate Christians for, Islamic people do too, if not more. What's the fucking motivation behind this? We'll never know the truth. Actually, we'll never know because Kmart are fucking pretending it's a system error, like as if a computer just goes bloop bloop, error, it's just, fuck equals Jesus.
It's someone rogue's done this. Someone rogue's just going, I'll just see what happens if I do this.
I bet you it wasn't even rogue. I bet you it was completely sanctioned. Like, yeah, fuck it, man.
Nah, there's no way they could do that, man. If they're public image, there's no way Kmart would do that. Dude, Kmart's like a multi-billion-dollar. The subsidiary of Kmart is like all these different things involved, man.
Oh, I'm sure the strategy didn't come from the top down. I'm sure some IT dude just chucked it in.
Some idiot IT dude was just carrying on, man. That's fucking ridiculous, dude. I can't believe that.
Well, yeah. Well, there's been a lot of funny news. So in other news, clearly unrelated to religion.
Yeah, nice.
There's a squirrel in Alabama was locked up in Limestone County, Alabama. The sheriff county, they did a drug bust on a couple of people cooking meth.
Yeah. And
they found in a cage a meth-fueled attack squirrel. They'd been feeding the squirrel like methamphetamines to make it aggressive. And like they got this footage. They got footage of this squirrel just like bouncing about a cage like manically. And like if you put your finger or like anything near the cage, it'll like try to get to the cage. Oh fuck. So I mean, there's not much to that story except the Beastmasters are back, man. There's a new way of taming your beasts. Beasts for attack.
But I guess it makes sense. Like when you're on fucking speed, you just fucking do. Oh, let's just give it to a little animal that lives with us. See what happens.
Why not feed drugs to an animal? Let's see what would happen.
See what happens, and it turned into a fucking like little demon thing. It's like it's wanting to bite everything around you.
Like, well, I'm ruining my own body. Why not ruin?
Yeah, what if this ruin more of the environment? Fuck just me. Let's get some other people involved.
It's a fucking demon squad.
It's probably the pastor, man. I reckon this pastor's probably in the ice too, man. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like Jesus told me, give meth to the squirrel. The world will be cleansed. Oh my God. Everyone's been reading the Bible wrong. It's not the first men of the apocalypse. It's the 4 squirrels men of the apocalypse. The 4 squirrels are going to end this world. Seriously, though, I can't get over how much of a demon that guy.
I know.
He looks like a fucking
You gotta watch
masked. He actually looks like, you know when they do scary androids in a movie? He looks like a scary android, like a fake human.
it. Yeah, he looks like
He's
a
like-
fake human. Like he's wearing skin. It's like he's wearing skin. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
He's a demon.
You know what he
He
is?
looks like an actual
He's-
demon.
He's a human being, presumably, but he's in the uncanny valley. You know, the uncanny valley where things are like, if it's, do you know the uncanny valley?
Mm.
They did this study on like psychologically. If someone looks close to real or is real, you'll feel fine. If someone is an absolute fake representation of a human, like a cartoon, it's fine. But when something is halfway in the uncanny valley, like kind of looks real, kind of looks fake, everyone gets fucking creeped the fuck out. It just creeps everyone out.
Yeah.
Natural instinct. And any strange imitation of human beings freaks us out. Now, I don't know if that has to do with like predators, because you know how like in primeval times, you know, a lot of animals will have these things where they pretend to be one thing to fucking catch another thing. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, the uncanny valley.
That makes sense. Yeah. So it's like
Yeah,
one
it's like-
one acting one way to get something, and then acting another way. So they learn
Yeah.
like genetically to like watch out for the certain things. Like you're saying.
Yeah. It's like that's a fake human being. It's
Yeah,
not
it's a
real.
fake
I might get
human
eaten. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's strange, but it's really interesting. There's a lot of studies on this. There's a lot of
Yeah.
academic literature on it.
Academic literature. It's
You better do your research. Oh, you listeners out there with your great minds. There's some academic literature on the uncanny valley.
In
Oh,
other
shit.
news, I need to bring up our friend Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. So 2 things have been happening to him. Like this, I found really weird. So the first thing was he was in Brazil. Was he in Brazil? Pretty sure he was in
Was he?
Brazil. He's in Brazil talking to someone, or like a South American country, and then some guy just runs up behind him and just fucking fly kicks him in the back. Do you see this?
Oh yeah, I've seen this.
So just Rose, yeah, just kicks him in the back. He's like, fucking Lamborghinis,
Yeah, I think that was in
fucking
Argentina. I think it was
Ferraris.
in Argentina.
Yeah.
But you know what I noticed straight away out of that? He hardly flinched. Such a tank cunt. He was just like,
He
oh.
didn't move. He didn't
Huh?
move.
Like he kind of jolted forward. He was like, oh, huh? And this guy like fucking used his whole body and like drop kicked this cunt.
Yeah.
And it didn't do. Look, man, Arnold Schwarzenegger's still a beast, man. Don't mess with it. Still
Yeah.
fucking jack. All those roids, bro.
He's still a beast, man. But he just like
Fucking
shrugged it
beast.
off. Just like, yeah, whatever. Didn't like hurt him at all, right? So I thought that was crazy. And he was just smiling about it. And the guy got arrested or something happened. His security dealt with it. He's got good security, right?
Got dealt with it, yeah.
And then this happened like literally a week after, right? A week after, he's in Los Angeles chilling out, like he lives in Los Angeles. And then he had like one of those electric scooters, and he parked it somewhere. And then he's going out getting a coffee or whatever. And then this black guy comes up and tries to steal his bike. So it's
Dude.
like someone's filming it. This guy's like trying to like steal his like $500 electric bike. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger's security come over and like trying to talk to him. They're like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like, get out, get out. You can't hear what the audio is. And the guy's like kind of getting aggressive, and the guy just pulls a gun at him. He's like, get the fuck out, get the fuck away. And the guy's like, oh, okay.
Whoa. The robber was trying to.
No,
pull out a gun.
he's security. He's security.
Okay.
Security's like, get the
Yeah,
fuck
That's
out.
good security.
It's like,
That's
holy.
money well spent.
Yeah, exactly. And the guy just like bitches out, and then Schwarzenegger comes over his coffee. He's like, ha ha ha, and then gets to his bike and rides away. I'm like, what the fuck is happening, man? Like, that was just a random guy. Not like you didn't know he was Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's just trying to steal a.
But some of those bikes are like, some of those bikes will cost hundreds of dollars, right? I mean, it's valuable pieces.
$500.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty fucking. Yeah, I wouldn't want anyone to steal my $500 scooter.
Yeah.
Especially when I got armed guards with fucking pistolitas.
So I found that this kind of weird, man. All this shit's happening to him lately, but yeah, it's not related at all. Speaking
good vibes, dude.
Speaking of pistolitas, there was
Pistolitas, yeah.
there was a couple in America that were having sex and that were using a gun as foreplay, and then the guy put the gun up her vagina and then shot her and killed her.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't help but say that It's genuinely depressing, you know. But you know, when you want to spice things up in the bedroom, try not to use live ammunition.
Yeah, you'd think you wouldn't like load the gun when you're doing that, but they're on
I
meth.
know.
They're on meth. They're on meth.
Yeah,
They were
but yeah,
demons. They were demons on
yeah.
meth. That's the
They're
problem.
all demons on meth. That's the problem. Look, I'm not superstitious or anything, but when you're on meth, demons enter your mind.
Maybe you do become a demon or something. Who knows? Maybe it actually is
I don't know.
demons. You know?
Like, you know, some of those drugs where like they start biting people's faces off. I'm like, yeah,
That's
but where
bath
does that come
salts,
from?
Yeah, yeah.
Where does that actually come from, though? Like, when do you become this rabid carnivorous animal? It's like, I don't know. Now I'm just being a fucking, I don't know, maybe I'm just being all Alex Jonesy here, but it's like, maybe it lets the demons in, you know? Maybe you take these things. Like, look, you can lose your mind. Like, don't you lose your mind when you're drunk as shit, right? You're so drunk. When you drink heaps, you lose your mind, right? You lose all inhibitions. But no, never in a million years you're going to bite someone's face off. But then you take bath salts and then you become a carnivorous animal. How does that happen? I'm sure there's a scientific explanation that I don't know about.
You're just having a psychic break. Like you're having psychosis. Like you're not in the world anymore. You literally lost your marble. That's where that really comes from, you know. But
fucked, man.
yeah, this couple like they just smoked a bunch of meth and then they were just like playing around. You know what I mean? And it's an accident. It's tragic. But yeah, man, this ice, man, it just fucks everything up, bro. And I reckon that guy still reckon that passes on some sort of weird drug, man. At least on a lot of coke or something, man. Make all that money. He's just that guy's not adjusted in this world, man. He's definitely something else.
It's coke if he's just being a normie rich cunt, but he could be on psychedelics, man. You know, like trying to be like closer to God and all that. And they just usually like shrooms or something like that. I don't know. Like,
nah, I think it's more just like a party
typical
drug.
rich guy.
Party drug.
Typical
women,
rich guy drugs.
Do whatever the fuck I want. I'm a private jet.
Yeah.
Fucking living his life.
Yeah.
He's a demon.
Just like, yeah, he's a demon sniffing cocaine off some woman's cooch, man. You know, probably.
Alex Jones said it best, man. Literal demon babies. Literal demon babies ripping people out.
Yeah.
So.
True. You know, when you're sniffing cocaine off a taint, we call that coke taint.
Coke taint. Yeah.
It's a perfect mix. It's a perfect cocktail mixture. It's called coke taint. You just gotta like spread it open a little bit. You gotta get at it. There's a bit of things in the way. You just like snip it off a taint.
Wouldn't smell nice, I don't think. But you'd have a good time doing it, I guess.
What a terrible, terrible idea.
No, it was good idea. On meth, everything's a good idea.
Yeah, but like unload it. Put the safety on. I don't know. There's all these things that you could have done.
It's more fun sexually if you got a loaded gun up someone's vagina.
Well, you know, part of me, like, I didn't understand, but part of me was like, maybe the danger was part of the appeal. Like, they were getting off on the danger.
Probably is.
The thing about getting off on the danger of it is the danger of it.
That's the problem because it actually is dangerous.
Yeah, it's like what you're doing is genuinely dangerous. It's not fake danger, all right?
Yeah.
Like, look, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. You know, that's all. I feel empathy still because when you get your rocks off, you're usually on cloud 9, but you're not expecting to get sent to heaven prematurely.
Just don't let anyone put a gun inside your anus and you should be good, man.
Yeah, exactly, dude. You know, just be on cloud 9 metaphorically and don't get sent to the clouds physically, metaphysically. Poor dumb bitches.
I've got one more for us. It is about our great leader, Kim Jong-un. So I found this like life imitating art, right? So I reckon he got this idea from actually. Anyway,
I think he must have. He must have
got this. So North Korean leader Kim Jong-un executes a general accused of plotting a coup, by throwing him into a piranha-filled fish tank. So they said that this guy was thought to kill. He said this guy was apparently like planning a coup against whatever, right? So then he just drops him into a fucking vat of like piranhas to eat him apart, right? This is exactly what happens in fucking Team America World Police.
It's fucking Team America, dude. Yes.
Fuck you, Hans Bricks. Stand a little bit to the left, little bit more. Fuck you, Hans Bricks. Fuck you.
Fuck you, Hans Bricks. My goodness.
It's just so bizarre. Like I've heard other stories where like
look at this.
Where they've strapped them they strap people to cannons and like literally explode them like in front of everyone. Everyone claps.
He's killed people with dogs. He's killed people with mortars. What other weird ways has he killed people? Fuck, he's done a lot of weird ways of killing people. Yeah, one is where he pre-sighted mortars and blew them up with mortars.
It's obviously fun to him, right?
It is, but like,
it's obviously fun to him to do shit.
It's how I would imagine I'd be if I had power. You know, you don't want to give a person like me ultimate power over people's lives, because if someone pissed me off, probably what I'd do to them. You'd be like, yeah, gender wage gaps real. I'm like, yeah, strap him to a fucking mortar, bro.
I have to say, it's the most like badass Bond villain death though. Like it's pretty slack, but like,
bro, he's
like,
a real Bond villain.
Oh yeah,
like, I think
fucking around. You got in the piranha of that. Holy
dude,
shit!
Kim Jong-un is a real Bond villain. He's a Bond villain in real life, but you can't take down these people with just James Bond in real life. You need armies and nuclear weapons. You need to flatten their cities.
You basically do need to flatten the city. There's no way around today.
Oh goodness gracious! Well, I think that's all we got time for,
that's
mate.
All we got time for, guys.
As usual, good fun. Hope you listeners out there had fun, because good shit.
Good shit. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, buddies.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Apologize for dad. Bye. Damn.